What's good, everybody? Welcome to Culinary Yapping. Today, we're going to talk about who is my biggest culinary influence. Instead of talking about techniques and more abstract things, let's do some lore building today. So, my biggest culinary influence is Rene Redzepi of Noma, a former Michelin star restaurant, and apparently it was voted the best restaurant in the world 5 times. But when I stumbled upon the like Noma in the first place, I did not know it was a Michelin star restaurant. So how I found out about this, how I began to get influenced by Rene Redzepi and his Noma restaurant, was through his book Noma's Guide to Fermentation. And I was at the library. I was beginning my culinary journey, and fermentation really caught my eye at the time. I was really into it, and I was like, I want to know how to do this, but I have to do it properly because there is risk, right? So I went to the library, grabbed a few fermentation books to look at, and the Noma's Guide to Fermentation was the one I decided to bring home. And it was the greatest choice I ever made. I learned a lot about fermentation, and it's been a core foundation to how I cook to this day. I learned how to make koji rice from scratch. I had spores. I grew it from spores. I then took that koji, made some sake from scratch. I then learned how to make miso paste from scratch from that said koji. So I made a 6-month miso, red miso. It's pretty good. There was, basic stuff on how lacto fermentation works, wild fermentation, excuse me, and all kinds of deep insights into how fermentation works. But yet it was still insightful and relatable enough that I could literally do it at home, which was pretty cool. At the time, I didn't know he was like a Michelin star restaurant or Michelin star chef. The book was just interesting. But over time of doing research and seeing his name and seeing Noma eventually pop up in my feed talking about how it was like the 5-time world's best restaurant, that was crazy. I said I need to, I guess, maybe look deeper into, what it's all about. And I realized Rene Redzepi, from like his keynotes after watching those on YouTube and whatnot and things, we kind of have a mirrored like path. So when he started his restaurant Noma, he focused a lot on foraging and local ingredients. And what's funny is around the same time I found the Noma book, I was actually foraging for local ingredients myself, mostly to say that I did it. I don't do it as much as anymore because I'm in a inner city kind of setup. So I'm pretty sure it's not safe to consume a whole bunch of foraged stuff that often, but it allowed me to, at least learn how to do it and get some experience and get connected to food, and it helped basically build my foundation and bring the spark. But anyway, there was also some other things he said in his keynotes that really resonated. The way he talked about cooking as a language. He said the ingredients are like letters, and basically he focused so much on the ingredients because by doing so, you basically are able to make more letters, either by fermenting or playing with the timing, or even there was one like PBS special I watched. He called it unripe strawberries. So essentially, I guess normally strawberries are sweet, right? But if you pick them at just the right unripeness, is what he called it, it creates a more sweet, tart kind of vibe, is how they described it. And so that way they can use the strawberry for more acidic notes rather than merely sweet notes, which is an interesting concept. And yeah, I like how he uses like time and the fermentation and using the local terroir and all that other crazy stuff to transform the ingredients and then rearrange them into his vision. And I really resonated with that a lot. And it's funny because not funny, but it's interesting how a lot of the stuff and techniques he does aren't really that complex technically. I feel like the hardest part is just the prepping and kind of sourcing it, really. But once you source it, I feel like the techniques he used to create them to create the actual dish weren't that complex, at least in the demos he was showing, which was interesting. But anyway, that's enough yapping. I think that kind of sums up the overview of my biggest culinary influence, Rene Redzepi and his restaurant Noma. If I learn more, or as I get deeper and maybe find other chefs I'm interested in, I might do another one of these. But with that said, time for me to get to mise en placing, get into these few little dishes and things that need organized. So I'm out.